The head of Donald Trump's government efficiency department, billionaire Elon Musk, sat down for an interview with Fox Business on Monday and quantified the work he and his teams are doing within the federal government.
I'm just here trying to make government more efficient, eliminate waste and fraud, and so far we're making good progress, actually. So our savings at this point exceed $4 billion a day. So it's very significant.
He went on to say, compared to what the government was doing, his efforts have caring and competence.
There's a massive amount of fraud of basically people submitting Social Security numbers for Social Security benefits, unemployment, Small Business Administration loans, and medical, where those are fake Social Security numbers, or they've stolen somebody else's Social Security number.
And when asked if he thought DOGE would find $1 trillion in savings per year, he said yes, unless their efforts are somehow stopped. Mike?
If you were the White House on Monday, published a headline entitled 50 Wins in 50 Days. The site lists 50 key actions and accomplishments achieved by Donald Trump in his first 50 days back in office. It highlights his policies on immigration, trade, energy, law enforcement, and government reform. Notable points include a drastic reduction in illegal border crossings, new laws targeting criminal offenders, and mass deportations. As far as trade and the economy, the WhiteHouse.gov page touts tariffs on foreign goods, major private sector investments, and a focus on manufacturing jobs. Further wins include expansion of domestic energy production, deregulation of environmental policies, cuts to bureaucracy, elimination of DEI initiatives, and educational reforms. Monday, HHS Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. met with the leaders of major American food companies in a roundtable discussion. Washington, D.C. was the gathering place for representatives from General Mills, PepsiCo, Kellogg, Kraft Heinz, and several and more. The secretary reviewed their time together, posting this: great discussion today, advancing food safety and radical transparency to protect the health of all Americans, especially our children. RFK Jr. continued saying, we will strengthen consumer trust by getting toxins out of our food. Consumer Brands Association President and CEO Melissa Hochstad also issued a statement regarding the gathering of industry leaders, writing this: today, industry leaders met with Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. to discuss his Make America Healthy Again agenda and working together to maintain consumer access to safe, affordable, and convenient product choices. Hochstad declared it's time for major food companies to prioritize public health over profit by embracing real whole food ingredients. Our neighbor to the north has new leadership on the way. After winning Canada's Liberal Party election with almost 86% of the vote, banker Mark Carney is stepping into Justin Trudeau's prime minister role. Carney is taking over as leader of Canada at a tumultuous time when inflation is high and the country is in the middle of a cost of living crisis. As for Carney's resume, the 59-year-old ran the Bank of Canada from 2008 to 2013, then the Bank of England for 7 years after that. The father of four graduated from Harvard and Oxford and has also been a vocal critic of President Donald Trump.
There's someone who's trying to weaken our economy. Donald Trump. Donald Trump. And Donald Trump, as we know, has put, as the Prime Minister just said, unjustified tariffs on what we build, on what we sell, on how we make a living.
President Trump today says he is doubling his planned tariffs on all steel and aluminum products coming into the U.S. from Canada. That would bring the total to 50%. It is in response to the province of Ontario placing a 25% tariff on electricity coming into the U.S. The new tariffs are expected to go into effect tomorrow morning. Greg?
As a result of President Trump's recently announced reciprocal tariff policy, some companies are looking to expand or set up shop in the United States. As the president made it clear, companies that produce their products in the U.S. will pay no tariff.
Oh, I think the tariffs are going to be the greatest thing we've ever done as a country. It's going to make our country rich again. We have many companies, as you know, auto companies are opening up plants now. We've had 4 or 5 announced already, but many more are coming. And we're basically going to take back the money, a lot of the money that we've given away over many decades. We've lost our jobs, we've lost our factories. We've lost 90,000 factories since the beginning of NAFTA.
Newsmax listed some of the top companies considering the move. Honda has reportedly decided to produce its next-generation Civic Hybrid in Indiana instead of Mexico. According to South Korean newspaper, LG Electronics is considering moving the manufacturing of refrigerators from Mexico to Tennessee. And Samsung Electronics, automobile manufacturers Stellantis and Volvo are among others planning or considering such a move. Right now, let's talk with Media Research Center Director Eric Shiner. Eric, welcome to Victory News.
Oh, thanks for having me. Glad to be here.
All right, listen to Sean Fain. He's the president of United Auto Workers who campaigned for Kamala Harris, and he's now fully supporting Trump's tariffs. Here he is.
We're in a crisis mode, and we are triaging right now. So I hear this debate about, blanket tariffs and all this stuff. But look, we're in a triage situation. Tariffs are an attempt to stop the bleeding from the hemorrhaging of jobs in America for the last 33 years.
Now, as you know, President Trump announced a doubling of tariffs on aluminum and steel coming from Canada because of the Ontario Premier says he's going to tariff electricity cut electricity provided in 3 states. Do you think the Trump end game with these tariffs is to bring manufacturing goods back to the United States, or are these actions also punitive?
Well, yeah, both can certainly be true. When you tariff foreign goods coming in, it encourages manufacturing within the United States, but also some are punitive. And Trump himself has said, look, if a country feels that some of these tariffs are too high, all they have to do is lower their tariffs, and then we'll lower ours. All he's asking here for is a level playing field. There's a lot of ramifications with tariffs. There's a lot of things to look at, but basically both of those things can be true, and that's something the leftist media isn't really focusing on. They're focusing on the threats of higher tariffs to these foreign countries.
I want to talk to you about something you're reporting. MRC TV is reporting on foreign national Mahmoud Khalil and his role in anti-Semitic protests at Columbia University. Tell us the latest on this story.
Well, the latest is Khalil was arrested on Saturday by ICE. Now, basically, he's being looked at as engaged as a national threat to security, that some of his actions, have been connected to Hamas. That's the claim. There's now a court hearing that's going to be held tomorrow. So there's a stay on ICE deporting him. And basically, I'm assuming the government's going to look to prove that, indeed, they have the evidence to connect that these terrorist actions these protest actions have been connected to Hamas and have terrorized or threatened Jewish students in the area. As late as last week, he was located at a protest in Barnard where they stormed the library. So he's been actively engaged in a lot of these protests, even though he's actually even already graduated from Columbia.
It's going to be interesting to watch how all of that plays out. Now, RFK Jr. sat down to steak and shake fries cooked in beef tallow instead of seed oil. And he warned that we must change our diets and food manufacturing preparation. Here he is.
This generation of our kids is the first generation in 200 years that is going to have a shorter lifespan than their parents.
It's scary.
So we are letting down these kids, and there's a moral issue here, and we need to start grappling with it.
Eric, you said this meeting with leaders from the food industry was positive. Do you think we can get the additives and other unhealthy ingredients out of our processes with food?
Yeah, I think we can. RFK has made this a focus. He's looked at, red dye 40, yellow number 5, and other additives that are currently in food. Let's be honest. The FDA regulates this. This is something that we can regulate. It's been done before. We all know the historical fact that Coca-Cola once contained cocaine. Might be good for repeat business, not necessarily good for one's health. So this is something where the government can step in and regulate.
All right, finally, President Trump posted a thank you to the Conservative Freedom Caucus this morning, but took aim at Thomas Massie of Kentucky for not supporting the Republicans in the spending bill. He says he'll lead an effort to oust him by primary, and he compared Massie to Liz Cheney. Eric, is this just bluster, or are Massie's days now numbered?
Only the voters can finally decide whether or not Massie's days are numbered, but Trump has every right to say, hey, GOP, this is the game plan. Get on the page. If you don't, I'm going to make sure you're primaried, and I'll support your primary challenger. And that's politics. He has as much right to do that as Massie has to decide he's going to vote against the measure.
That's been going on ever since we started the United States Congress. Eric, thank you so much. Bring you back here in just a moment. Mike?